everyone, this is Chuck Hogan from Your Best Life, and welcome to the Spanglish World Networks on Zingo TV, channels 250 and 251. Please remember, always download both the Zingo TV app on the respective app stores on iOS and Android devices. While you download, why don't you go ahead and make sure that you leave a rating and a comment. The app is completely free. Zingo TV can also be uploaded on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, and of course Roku sticks as well, and all smart TVs 2016 and forward. So you have a lot of ways to stay engaged, y'all. Thank you for being here tonight. I have the treat of treats for you. In life, people come into your life for a reason and a season. And then there's some people that you just know you're going to be connected for a lifetime. Cindy Gould is one of those people. I can tell you that a loving soul, a caring heart, intellect beyond, and of course, you're going to feel her emoting this amazing energy that she has. So, Cindy, thank you for joining us tonight. So appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, and what a beautiful, beautiful introduction, and thank you for that. And I agree. From the minute we connected, it's like, okay, we've done this before. You know, right?
You know your tribe, you know your peeps, and that kind of brings us to this topic tonight that we were kicking around, and it's going to sound really juvenile, at least coming from me, and maybe even a little sophomore, because you're like going, come on, dude, like, you know when you're happy. But here's a question in today's 21st century environment, and that is, Cindy, where do you think people are really finding their joy from now? Like, where are they actually getting this from now?
Such a good question. And even to think back a little bit before that question is, who do you know that lives in that kind of joy? Who do you know that doesn't just keep circling the drain, living in the land of suck, you know, or where their focus is, but they actually, no matter what's going on around them, still live in joy, right?
Yeah. You know, that's great distinction. When I was younger, we used to call that living the Hoover life. And they're like, Hoover? How old are you? I said, yeah, because it was like the vacuum. It sucked. And so the difference is in this world, people who are unhappy are going to find ways of staying unhappy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of a weird paradigm. We're going to get to the why in a moment. Let's ask ourselves a question for a second. Why would someone choose angst, frustration, procrastination, negativity, marginalization, and feeling like neutralized, where they don't have much value?
Yeah, you know what's interesting with that? There's a few things that instantly, of course, you know, are just firing off for me. And one of them, a lot of you that are listening to us now or in the future may not, they'll be like, what do you mean by this? But there's safety there.
Yes.
When let's say that you grew up in a home that wasn't stable, or there, oftentimes it felt like you were walking on landmines. What part of me is going to be dismembered? Incoming, you know, whether your parents are bickering or whether there's other things, or there was more month than money, and then there was stress and all that kind of stuff. You create that in your nervous system, right? That's what you're used to. And when it's not there, you freak out, right?
It can create a whole ecosystem of insecurity. So imagine you're experiencing a tornado, an earthquake, a hurricane, a volcanic eruption, and a tsunami all at the same time. Right. It doesn't make a difference where you turn. You're like, oh, wait, I've heard of one, but it's like Sharknado. You just know it's coming. Right? It's like Armageddon. What? Because there's a great white flying through the air in a tornado. Of course they live there.
Of course.
And thank goodness for people's imaginations, because here's the truth. For as much as you believe that perspective could be real for yourself, it could also exactly be the opposite, which is a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Some, it's a comical dream. For others, it's a nightmare. And left to your own devices, you'll withdraw. The 10 million year old monkey brain looking for the saber-toothed tiger will go, ooh, run to the cave, run to the cave. For you, the cave might be mediocrity. It may be living in a state of survive and not thrive.
Right. Right. 100%. You know, when you asked about joy, it's a choice. And it's a choice. And in my life, it's the hum that, you know, like your engine, when you turn the engine on, right? And you hear the hum, joy's my hum. And now, you know, that my faith, of course, we've talked about that. And so, of course, the joy of the Lord is my strength and my joy. And the neurons that fire together wire together. And I had a season in my life a few years ago in 2021 where I joined the Neuron Coding Institute. 2 weeks later, I moved out of my home, left my marriage. It was already in the works. That was the timing. But then fast forward to the summer of 2021, at the end of July, my sweet, precious, beautiful son, Mana, 36, 5 beautiful children, love his wife. And he was so happy, and he got sick. Now, he had never been sick, even a cold, as a child. So yeah, I mean, he was one of those kids, you know, I breastfed, you know what I mean? And back then that was the thing. And your children typically didn't get sick. And so that was it. Well, he got sick, and 2 weeks later, well, August 7th of 2021, he moved back home to heaven unexpectedly. And from that moment, Chuck, through March of 2022, I had 8 loved ones, including my father, a cousin who was like a brother, 2 best friends, one of 20 years, one of 5 years. Each one of them unexpectedly, not like a cancer thing or anything, each one of them moved back home to heaven in 7 months, 8 loved ones, and my divorce was final. And I mean, talk about like, it's a sink or swim moment, right? I mean, and I, in January of 2022, before even hitting March with a few more people between January and March, I had it out like literally on the beach with God. Like, what the heck, you know, and what am I supposed to do now? And here I am, a mom with children that I need to help, 10 grandchildren, his 5 babies, you know, all that. Wow. And I'm trying to figure out how to tread water myself. Yes. And I had to learn really quick how to make joy my hum. And so with neuron coding, quite honestly, and 100% with God, I reprogrammed myself that's my default, is joy and gratitude.
Absolutely.
And that was it. And now, doesn't mean I don't grieve, doesn't mean I'm not sad, doesn't mean things don't happen. No. I just get stuck there, right? And so, go ahead.
No. And so life happening to me or for me?
And because of me.
Yeah, well, and through me, within me.
Right.
It's and these are the connections and disconnects. It's so interesting because the way the brain works, it's this amazing computer, and it tries to calculate odds. Like, oh, if I stack all these things, then somehow I'll feel better about it because I've attached a different meaning to it. And it's like,
right.
Okay. Sure. I go, well, given all the circumstances, no one would ever fault you for feeling upset, pain, discord, disconnection. Yeah, I mean, and guilt upon, you know, it's like, because I survived and they didn't, and why God, why me, why us, why now? And the truth is, the universe has this symbiotic relationship with energy. And the only ones that give us meaning to any of this is us, when we're like, oh, this earthly mortal toil, this shell that we're living in. I just spent the whole day at a conference for biohacking with Dave Asprey. And I go, this, then I go, hey, I'm going to live to be 180. I go, dude, a year ago it was 120. Now you're saying 180. He goes, well, I figured out that I can keep myself, you know, young indefinitely. Look at Joseph McClendon. Look at us. I mean, it's like, listen, I know some very old 57-year-olds. And
62.
Look at, I mean, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I say about energy, chi, the engagement that we get to swim in. Where the people I see that are aging the fastest are the ones that are checked out, and they're living a life of mediocrity. And the truth is, the Damon Johns was on today and he said, listen, it's real simple. He goes, I was all about success up to this one point. He goes, and then I go in for a biopsy, and he goes, what was supposed to be a 15-minute engagement turned into a 2.5-hour surgery for stage 2 cancer. Yeah. He goes, so now everything is about expansion and evolution and how can I feel even more engaged? He goes, I've never been more alive than I am now, right now. And to your point, he's finding joy in breathing.
Yes. Yes. I know. Well, okay, so let me share this. And people think I'm goofy, and you know what? I'm so glad you do. Because here's the thing. So I get up in the morning and I'm so excited. I'm super, like, I am freaking rock star excited. Woohoo! What are we doing today? You know, and it doesn't matter if I've overpacked my schedule, my choice, or whatever's going on. First thing after I drink my water, do my things, you know, whatever. When I go to brush my teeth, and you are of the same age that you'll probably remember these. I am stoked that I have cinnamon flavored Melaleuca toothpaste that's with essential oils because it reminds me of those cool little cinnamon sticks, right? That we used to chew when we were kids. And it literally brings me joy. Like I know that's silly, but it's like I have all those things, right? That intentionally bring me joy. And what you said about Damon John, I love that about the expansion. One of my things for myself that I do, and it keeps my lens focused in a certain way, is that I continuously look for opportunities to deepen my capacity to love another person. So, for instance, if I'm at Safeway, you know, and at the checkout, I purposefully will get off my phone because typically, you know, you're talking on your phone till it's your turn, right? Right. And making sure you didn't forget anything or whatever. Right. And I get off my phone and I will consciously, and there have been times where I didn't do it. I'm like, Cindy, you missed that opportunity, you know, but consciously want to connect with that person because it's a privilege for me to share that energetic space with them in that moment. And I don't mean that in an airy fairy way. I mean that in a very legitimate, let's connect.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. And that ability to be present.
Right.
The number one currency that we all have is us.
Yes.
Oh, well, why are you creating a remuneration valuation around this? I said, because the truth is energy is a currency.
100%.
Currency. Money is just another currency that someone else has control over.
Yep.
So when we elect to, because you don't have to, you get to, and you decide to, there's a freedom. And one of the things I've found that's helped me so much, Cindy, is exercising self-forgiveness. Yes. People go, wait, so if you're in Safeway, you would forgive yourself? Yes. For being preoccupied, for going down the rabbit hole, for, you know, for so many different indiscretions that you could easily point to yourself and go, oh, Bueller, like, really? Like you did it again? At 57, you haven't learned the lessons? You haven't, it's like, and it's not about an age. I said, here's the deal. My reticular activating system, which is a very simple concept, we'll call it focus, and where focus goes, energy flows.
Yes.
So when people get so emulsified into looking at, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person who's preoccupied. I don't want to be the person who's on their phone. I need to be present. I need to be present. So, no, you don't need to. It's a choice.
Right.
They go, well, okay, so how do I shift from that to this? I said, well, ask yourself this question in the morning as soon as you get up. As soon as you're coming out of theta brainwave, which is dreaming and you're becoming cognitive.
Right.
Ask yourself how you need to feel most often today.
And
people go, wait, what does that got to do with the price of tea in China? I said, everything. Because what is the cost? And they go, wait, what? I said, let's understand this for a moment. If where focus goes, energy flows, and we know this to be factual, and ordinary things done consistently produce extraordinary results, what if you were to just pick the 3 ways that you are electing to turn your lens to today?
Yes.
That is the filter that every single experience is going to emote and flow through.
Yes.
And they go, like what? I said, how about joy, energetic, presence, loving, kind, contributory, valued, gracious, empathetic,
Yes.
collaborative. And they're like, what? Holy smokes, dude. There's a lot of ways. I said, yes. And here's the thing about virtues by comparison to emotions. See, because here's the difference. Virtues have a presupposition of always being in the positive.
Huh.
And their belief systems.
Right.
Emotions, i.e. feelings.
Right.
Here's the secret. Every single one of them serves you, even the ones you don't enjoy. Yeah. So if you're like, oh, I'm so aggravated. Well, why? Because I care so much. Oh, well, boo-hoo, you. You want to care less? They're like, wait, what? I go, I'm just asking a question. You said it's only because I care. I was like, oh, awesome. Then start caring less. What?
Yeah.
I can't do that. I go, oh, you could.
Can.
And then you'd be indifferent. And then you would be not being your best self. And the consequence of that is that you'd be incongruent. And in your part of the world, you call incongruency what? You go, being a fibber, a liar. It's like, okay, oh, blasphemer, stop it. What are you doing? Where are you going? Hey, you open the door. I'm just stepping both of us through it. So to your point, Cindy, what if someone's struggling with even realizing that there is joy? That their world has been filled. You arguably could have taken a different path had you chosen to.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when you were saying earlier, why this, why me, why? Instantly, I remembered not doing the why loops because they're endless. They will not serve me no matter what. And I'll have answers that my belief system may make up to justify something, right? Or right? But I won't necessarily have the actual answer to that. What I did was I did kind of like what you were sharing a minute ago, and it was all how do I need to feel? How do I need to do this and create this? How do I need to? And I did that. And one of the things, if you don't even know that joy exists in your life right now, like if literally it takes effort to get off the couch, or if you're in numb land and you're disconnected from all things, there are a couple things that you can do that will really help to, I want to say, maneuver you a little bit back to that energetic,
Beautiful.
right? And one of them, and it's very slight and it really works, is literally just find something that you can be thankful for, that you have gratitude for. That's what I started to do. And I started to stack my gratitudes. And the way that I did it was the way that Joseph McClendon actually speaks to. And I did 3 from the past.
Yes.
And I've been on this earth long enough that I can dig deep and find lots of things I didn't have repeats, right? So 3 things. And it could even be simple things like, holy cow, I was so grateful that when I was 12, I earned enough money when you made 50 cents an hour babysitting to buy my own 10 speed. You know what I mean? But it's all those kinds of things. And I not only, though, it wasn't just important to write it down, it was important for me to feel what I felt when that happened, right? Because that energy was important. Then 3 things in the current things that I'm thinking, like my toothpaste. Like I sometimes do you get grateful that you, and I tease about this because I talk about this, that you actually lifted the lid on your laundry, you took a smell, you don't have to re-rinse it, right? Because you switched the load spouts, exactly, right? And that's something to be grateful for, or the fact that you didn't get dressed from your couch all week, that the clothes actually got folded and put away. Because that's a thing.
Hey,
right?
There's things that come in all different shapes, sizes, and packages.
Right.
And some of them have nothing to do with you.
100%. Right. And then the last thing that I do in the gratitude piece in my stack is I am grateful for things that haven't happened yet, but I speak as though they have.
Yes. Beautiful. Well, and again, where focus goes, energy flows. So when we're in that gratitude state, it means past, present, and future. It means body, mind, and spirit, personally and professionally, because you don't get to pick like your left eyebrow or your right eyebrow. And there's many of you looking at me going, isn't that the opposite? I said, not if you're sitting where I am. And that's the reason why I go there. Many of us, and I'm raising my feet under my desk as well, have had a tendency in the past to be less than kind to oneself.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, yeah. What's the score? 10s. There you go. No, 20, because my feet are up. So I share this for this very simple reason. Your life begins and ends in the relationship between you and your creator.
Yeah.
Your spark, who you are, how you came into this universe, came into this space, this grace, this level of engagement. You get to decide what your worth is in this world, because you were made in his and I'm going to say their image, because people go, why would you say that? I said, because we have this conversation in my house that the world is such a beautiful place that it took a woman to create all the beauty in this world. It took a man to strike the fire and find the darkness as well as the light. It took a woman to be able to emote and create that much beauty and grace and space and softness as well. So the whisper of a breeze isn't the work of a man. It's not. It's the work of a deity. It's the work of God. It's the work of energy, universe, spirit, mana, if we want to call it that. And so they go, okay, Chuck's gone off the reservation. He's getting a little woo-woo over here. And I go, okay, great. Here's the truth. The truth is that I'm a loving guided gift from God, and I was put here to help people.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
And they go, well, okay, what does that look like? I said, well, that doesn't mean I can't be profitable. Doesn't mean that I can't have even more increased capacity. Doesn't mean that I have to kowtow to someone else's ideology about what true leadership looks like. Said at the end of the day, I look at it and say, let's not judge.
Right.
And let's keep the curiosity without the criticism.
Yep.
Yeah. So folks go, oh, so what's your moniker in life? I said, I'm looking for different. They're like, what? Not better? I said, well, what needs to happen in order for you to decide that something's better than where you're at now?
Things need to be different.
If you're judging, you're making now. So you go, oh, I constantly live in gratitude. And I go, not if you're looking for better.
Not if you're looking for better.
Because the reference is, well, can't it always be better? And I go, no. It can be different.
Yep.
What is now is beautiful. It's great. It is a blessing. It's not, I don't need to judge it. I don't need to marginalize it, mitigate it. If my life were to end right now, and it's not going to, but if it were, I would go, thank you. Thank you. I'm not trying to be someone else's expectation. To it where my life conditions are, and I go, well, as far as I'm concerned, here's where I'm living. So why would I lower myself to someone else's expectation?
100%.
And they go, oh, but you're not. I go, hey, you need to get on the train of you. Like, are you rooting for you? Are you Are you loving you, guiding you, filling you so that your cup so overflows? And I have days, Cindy. Oh, yes. This has some days when I don't feel necessarily full.
Right.
And so where do I find the joy? And I said, it's simple. I have another moment. I have now. So I can choose, as long as the universe conspires to keep my breath going and my heart beating, that I can decide where I'm going to invest me for we.
100%. That's great.
And I was reminded of this, and I'd love to get your distinctions on this. Someone said, well, man, it seems like it's a really long, difficult task to go from me to we. And I go, no, in fact, it's really easy. Me, we.
Right.
I said, all you're doing is just flipping it upside down. I said, a piece of paper has two sides, so does a coin. You have a left and a right, you have a front and a back, you have a top and a bottom. I go, this is the synergy of life. When it becomes challenging is when you only see one side.
Right.
So honor all the parts of you and not just the parts that you love and adore and appreciate. Because the minute you judge your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul, your integrity, your energy,
Right.
you have just lost access to all those resources.
That is powerful. Wait, you said it earlier before we went on camera even, and it hit me like, no kidding. Because you've disconnected and and you're doing just the opposite. And Vini says it all the time as well, is be curious, not critical. But
Yes.
when you're not doing that and with yourself and you're being critical instead of, I wonder why I responded like that. I
And
wonder.
the curiosity actually goes further because they go, okay, but what does that have to do with I? And I said, okay, be inquisitive then.
Mm,
And they're like, what? I said, it's inside you.
yeah.
Inquisitive.
I love it.
In question. And it's like, oh. I said, yes, there's power in language. The nomenclature and the delineation of the verbiage that we use, and we toss stuff around so willy-nilly. And I go, be inquisitive, not your executioner.
Right. Ooh, that's good.
So internal, external. It's like, okay, wait. So to your point, curious, not critical. And I go, yeah.
Yeah. Well, remember when you did this just a minute ago, and first, let me just, before I even say this, when you say the things about what we say, first of all, we know if our body's 85% water, and we've seen the effects that the scientists, what is it, Amato, yeah, and unreal, amazing, and beautiful work that he did. Also, though, our words are creative containers of energy. They're literally containers of energy. That's it. Like money, like you said earlier. All of these things are containers of energy, and it's however you want to wield that energy. And when you said, this is such a beautiful graphic, me. So what is this? It's upside down. It's going, it's not going inward. It's cut off. Like I see it that way, as opposed to we, open, looking up, right? And I know, and it's like this.
This holds nothing. This is a fence that cuts you off. This is open to receiving.
Yes, and to giving. And it's like this big vortex, like, woo, right?
We're we though, because now we're sharing.
100%. I love that. There's a lesson right there.
I got goosies. It's like it's interesting. And this is what you and I were mentioning before we even came on. And it's like, and I'm so grateful for you. Really, there's a synergy when you are harmoniously connected to other people.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between an understanding and an actual connection. So this was an interesting question that Dave Asprey asked Damon Johns, and he goes, how do you know that someone's not just playing a part and you can use that intuition to connect? And it was a really interesting response. Damon John goes, yeah, what is it for you? And this is where it got very interesting with Dave. And he goes, I'm not going to say it's just gut. I'm going to say I feel a certain way after the engagement.
Yeah.
And he goes, and here's the freaky deaky part. It's not between my ears. It's
Mm-mm.
literally in my body. He goes, so it's more of a body up than a head down.
Yep.
And he has this expectation of self that when he was young, that he was on the spectrum. And he goes, oh, because I used to believe people were dead from the neck down. And then I learned,
Love it.
but I also found out that's when I was overweight. That's when I wasn't eating healthy. That's when I could work out for 3 hours and still not lose a pound. He goes,
Yeah.
it wasn't until the shift and my purpose and why, to your point, where I started acknowledging and understanding that there is something bigger than me at work here.
Yes. Yes. And when he says being overweight, it's interesting because so way before even that happened, and this was like in 2007, I wasn't expecting to get pregnant. I had 2 grandbabies and then was pregnant, had a miscarriage at 6 months, and there was all that. Well, I started to just gain weight. And we used to be, at the time I was married, and we would go to the gym. We were 2-a-day gymmers, because it was fun, not because we had to work hard. We had the time, and it was fun. And all of that came to a screeching halt. One day, my son Nicholas, and he said to me, well, Mom, because I did exactly like Dave, no matter what, fasted. I mean, I would juice fast for like 14 days and release 18 pounds and then eat a grain of rice and boom, it's back, right? And I'm Hawaiian. So who doesn't eat rice, right? And so, but what was interesting is that Nicholas said to me, he said, well, Mom, that's just sad fat. And I just looked at him. It was so profound. And I said, right? And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, Mom, he said, heal the sad, lose the fat. And I'm like, whoa, brilliant.
Right? Oh yeah, no, it's crazy because when you look at this and you're into the Aloha spirit and Ohana, as a half Japanese guy, I can tell you, it's like people are going, ooh, you're Hapa. And I go, you're Hapa Haoli though. And I go, wait, what do you mean half white? What are you talking about? What happened to the side? And they're like, oh, brother, you don't look, you don't look like a full Hawaii. Yeah, and I was like, because I'm not. And they go, your name, man, your name. And I was like, okay, first of all, you're not Jamaican. And it was very interesting growing up. To your point, there's this time when we start to realize that the energy that's stored within us, because water has memory.
Yes.
That what is feeding into us is toxicity. So are you a mountain stream, or are you a hard, what they call dense water reservoir, holding back toxicity,
right,
and praying for purity?
Right. So much right.
And someone goes, okay, well, what's the fastest way to purge this? And I said, open the floodgates. It's not by filtering it. If you think there's a process that you're going to go through that is going to change the way that you are emoting, feeling, and connecting, the fact is that live there and you'll be there. Don't.
Good.
I've seen so many people that the negative language, the stacking, and I'll remind all of our viewing audience, you can do what we call habit stacking. And it's beautiful. You take on a habit, which you can use the analogy or the breakdown of repo, which is repetition, easy, it's pleasurable, you do it often, and that becomes a habit.
Right.
R-E-O-H. Here's the interesting part about it. Repetition is the mother of all skill. If you make it easy, you'll duplicate it and do it all the time. So that could be a walk, that could be, jumping jacks, something that's simple.
Sure.
And if you turn on music and make it pleasurable, you go, oh my gosh, I'm seeing results, my energy's going up.
Right.
It does require scheduling it though. So this is where a little bit of discipline comes in. You need to schedule you.
Yep.
So that it does become a habit.
Yes.
I'm also going to remind you that you can habit stack in the negative.
100%.
And it's kind of crazy because it happens like that.
Yep.
So where you're like going, oh, I'm making these progress and I'm stacking all these positive habits. It's like, that's great. That's beautiful. That's what we call becomes a lifestyle. If you're a 2-a-dayer at the gym, pickleball's your, whatever the case might be. And then you twist your ankle.
Yep.
And they're like, wait, what? So now, what are you doing? And they're like, well, nothing. I twisted my ankle. So, oh, so you're an invalid now. I get it. You are a quadriplegic. Okay. No, Chuck, but it hurts. I go, and other things don't. And so you shut your mind off and your spirit and your energy and your arms no longer work and danger Will Robinson. And, you know, it's like T-Rex life. I can't reach it. I'd go for it, but my arms are too short. And I was like, you're kidding me right now, right? And they go, oh, but the ankle. And I was like going, doesn't affect your back, your chest workout, your arms, even your abs. And they're like going,
Right.
What does it affect? Your ankle. Singular, not even both of them. And so this is where this whole ideology of mindset versus heart set.
Yes.
I get so befuddled by people go, oh, just got to condition that mindset. Got to stay on it. Got to map out my outcomes and goals and remind myself every single day. And I said, okay. And until you know your purpose or why, it's just a dream. It's vaporware.
Right.
Are you familiar with RPM?
As what?
Results planning method?
Yes, I'm familiar. I'm not.
Yeah, also known as a rapid planning method. So yeah. I have some friends who are like really addicted to RPM, uber addicted. And I guess it's changed since I learned it, but for about 20 years, out of the 22 I was in the Robbins environment, I couldn't figure the freaking thing out because it wasn't working. And I have all these people that go, okay, why don't I feel connected to this? Why am I not growing? Why am I not elevating past where I'm at now? And I said, oh, it's really simple. I said, okay, I don't know why people are trying to. I want someone who's really adamant about FaceTiming right now.
Oh, bring them on. Bring them on.
I have no idea who it is. So let me go here.
There you go.
I don't even know where my brain was at. That was a pattern interrupt. Thank you, universe.
RPM.
Oh, so here's the challenge. People go, if I just have a strong enough outcome and goal, and I remind myself every single day, I will chase it. And I go, oh, so that we're going back to doing your best and not being your best.
I love that.
Because when you're doing your best, doesn't mean you're being your best. When you are being your best, you're always going to do your best because you don't know anything different. You're being you. You're being congruent, the drive, the heart, the integrity. So here's what I came up with. And people go, well, why is this important? Some people will say joy is their outcome. And they'll go, if I have enough joy in my life, then I'll be worthy. I'm like, wait, what? So when you have enough joy, so what does that look like? Money, time, energy, travel, houses, health. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, they all sound great. Are you willing to commit to do the things and be who you need to be in order to achieve these, though? Because here's what happens. When we have this ideology of joy, and then we link it to our purpose, oh, I'm going to be worthy. I'm going to be full. And I go, and you take mammoth action, but there's only one problem. There's this huge gap. And this is no different than when someone has an expectation of life conditions and they're trying to close the gap. I said, this is the gap.
100%.
Cindy, what does your brain do when you chase a goal and you don't hit it 100% or blow past it? What does the brain tell you? Pass or fail?
Oh, fail.
Epically.
Epically. And what, may I just add to what you're saying at this point? When you mentioned the home, the this, the that, all that, that's not joy, that's happy. That's conditional and it's happy. Joy is the hum, right? And if you don't do those things, that's where you hem yourself up from your worthiness endeavors, right? Like
Absolutely.
I'm so like on the train with you. I'm like, okay, here goes.
Because here's what happens. If you go, you're not worthy. Oh my gosh, you got 99% of the way there. Wait, you got what? To that hairy, audacious, huge goal, you got 99% of the way there and you're not celebrating? No, because you didn't have what it took to get over the finish line. What's wrong with you? Oh my gosh, you suck. You're not worthy. And it's like, whoa. And here's the truth, because you linked it to your purpose. Now you're not valued. Now you're worse than navel lint. Like you were lower on the chain than a pimple on a worm's belly. This is low. This is low.
As low as you can go.
Energy and intention. So they go, okay. Then how do you do it, Mr. Smarty? I said, get rid of all this and wipe the slate clean and just start with your why. In fact, I'm gonna make it simple for you. We said at the beginning of this session, what are the ways that you need to feel most often? Loving, kind, contributory, engaged, valuable, necessary, joyous, happy, kind. Oh, well, why is that important anyway? I said, because you can't hold on to anything without this.
Right.
You can get slapped, removed, taken. This is your why. This is your purpose. This is your reason for existing.
Right.
And they go, okay, I'll bite. What was the next two? Said, because you haven't even come up with an outcome yet. And I said, wow, you're feeling all these ways, and this is your filter. I said, what direction do you need to go in to feel this way most often? Wait, what? So you said this earlier. My why and my how.
Yep.
I haven't told you what yet. I go, wait. Anytime I'm heading in a direction that allows me to feel this way. Right. I saw a sunset. Petted a puppy. Great conversation. Had a wonderful conversation with my beautiful sister Cindy. I go, okay, I'm buying. I'll have what she's having. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Who's showing up to the party? This is your identity. This is, we get to remember who we are. I'm a loving guided gift from God. I'm humorous. I'm intelligent. I have brevity. I have commitment, connection, drive, hope, integrity, love in copious amounts.
Yes.
Oh, and what they don't tell you in school, what you get to let go of: beratement, judgment, indiscretion, agitation, frustration, shame, guilt, bad juju.
So much bad juju.
Right? So they go, wait, what? I go, so now what this represents, you ready?
Yes.
Body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah.
So now when I come up with an outcome, it's a full body experience.
Yeah.
And then when you take mammoth action, now you can see this is achievable. No one can take this from you. This is who you are. I said, that's my version of RPM, and it's based on neurolinguistics programming and neurosocial conditioning and language patterns, and more so shifting the focus to what you need in life, not what you're chasing your wants and all the goodies that you hope to be able to pad your pocket with. I have no problem with prosperity. Understand why it's valuable to you.
Yes. 100%.
Because do I want you driving a jalopy? No.
A hoopty?
Oh, no.
Right.
Surround yourself with beautiful things.
Yes.
Make you feel. They don't give you value. What they do is they create value for you.
100%. And that feeling, it's what you said, the feeling. Like if you study, when you mentioned, going from living to 120, which has been like and now I'm like, I'm on the 160, 180 train now, what all you do is mention it, and I'm like, oh, level up instantly. And even diving into blue zones. And when you watch any of that, and and you pay attention to the blue zone, and well, I mean, one of them is what is it in Okinawa, and then Singapore is another, and you look at that and you see how they're doing that. It is anchored in the very things, the energy, the very where's your intention, your attention, what are you looking at? Yes,
Yes.
this, you know, the
Yes.
whole everything we're talking about. And so how long do you want to be here? You know what I mean? It's like, exactly. And
Need to be here.
oh, yeah, it's
Well,
so neat.
so here's an interesting fact. Spain has become the #1 blue zone in the world.
Ooh,
Yeah. And I'm like going, wait, they drink and smoke in Spain.
100%. What are they drinking and smoking in Spain?
Happiness.
Yep.
Because the reason why they drink and smoke, and this is the whole thing, how do they need to feel? They're not doing it because of addiction. They're doing it for connection, for collaboration, right? And it's like, I don't know of anyone who takes more siestas than they do. And
100%.
here's what's great, right? So I go, ooh. Now, does that mean I'm going to start drinking and smoking? Well, Asian flush is real. And I haven't smoked anything ever. So, and people need it. But I was going, ooh, but the energy.
Right.
Energy. And think about it, not the energy, the energy. It's all around us. It's encompassing. It's the environment. It is the intention. It's the connection. It's the, it's like, wow. So we honor rest. We honor activity. We honor purity. We honor all these things.
Right.
And it sets a different intention for our engagement.
We honor ourselves. We honor our God. We honor each other.
It's about we.
Yeah.
When we adopt a we ideology, what I have found, Cindy, is that it opens up the universe. Because now it's a collaborative ideology. The focus is engagement.
Right.
It's not closed. It's open completely.
I just thought of we are the world. Well, I want to share this too. So I discovered that through the whole DNA, whatever, ancestry.com thing, that I'm actually about a third Sicilian. So I'm Hawaiian and Sicilian. So rice and pasta, right? Which growing up, groovy life. And what's interesting is that I paid attention to the energy when I fuel myself with that, and it wasn't resourceful for me anymore. Right. And so then I shifted that again. If we're looking at the energy and the things, and it's the same thing. How does it make me feel? Right. Like what to your point, to your extremely profound point, because that, in a nutshell, like how does it feel to hang out with my brother Chuck? How does it feel to have this time? Like I'll be buzzing all night. Like, okay, let's go. Or even the I wish I would have been on the biohacking thing today. I'm like, is there a replay I want to watch? I mean, it's like, how cool is that, right? I just think when you plug in, and Spain, even my sister just moved to Portugal last year, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's Spain, and when you're plugging into those environments again, how does it make you feel? So great.
We all belong someplace, and I'm so blessed that you and I belong here tonight together.
Yeah, thank you.
It really is beautiful. Cindy, for our viewing audience, how can they learn more about you? You are such a bastion of knowledge and information and groovy energy. How do you find out more about you?
So if you go on Facebook, you can find me at The Victory Network. It's the easiest place. You can look up Cindy Gould, but just go to The Victory Network, reach out, send me a direct message if you need to. That's the best place and the easiest place. It's just go Facebook, Victory Network.
That's awesome.
And it's a really cool group. We've been, I think, alive, this group, for 2 months now, and we're like 15, almost 1,600 members strong. Wow. And it's a place where we just celebrate each other. I'll come on and say, hey, I saw you on Chuck's show. I'll interview you in front of everybody, and you can tell us all about you. It'll be great, and we get to celebrate you. So
love it. Well, you are such a guiding light, and my sister from another mister. Yes. I appreciate you. Again, this community that we have here at the Spanglish World Network is remarkable. It is remarkable. Thank you, my friend. We're going to remind our viewing audience, this show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check us out at http://spanglishworld.ca for all the news and all the programming. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and you got to live it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Such a privilege. Thank you.
Things that